If you collect trading cards like Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, Disney Lorcana, or Star Wars, and you don't want them to look like that, you need to store them somehow. Hello there, collectors. I'm Yugioh. Thank you for watching. I own thousands of different trading cards, and in all my years of collecting, I've used all the binders. The bad ones, the terrible ones, the no binder at all approach, and some really good ones. In this video, I'm going to show you what to look out for before buying a new binder. I'm going to give you some tips and some recommendations, and I've brought a bunch of different binders for us to compare, so let's get started. Features to look out for. When choosing a binder, here are some key features you should really look out for. Number one, material quality. Of course, your binder should be well made, durable, and made of acid-free material so your cards don't yellow over time. Actually, most binders nowadays don't have any acid in their material, so you should be good on that part. Capacity. There are binders that hold 360 cards, others hold 480, and there are even those with more than 1,000. My recommendation is check the set size or whatever you're trying to put into the binder first before choosing the binder. Size. Travel often like me, get a more compact binder. Loading direction. There are side loading and top loading binders. Side loaders are usually safer because cards can't fall out even if you shake them. You know, shaky, 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 shake. Extra protection. Do you need a zipper or reinforced cover for extra safety? Or does it have to be waterproof? This is especially helpful in humid places, or, I don't know, if you take your cards underwater, for example. Design. Do you want something flashy or more professional looking? Do you want a certain design, logo, or brand, or even customize the outside of your binder? Last but not least, price. Binders usually cost between $10 to $40, $50, euros, pounds, depending on where you live, and there should be something for every budget. Hold up. No matter which binder you choose, the first purchase you make should always be sleeves. Check out my separate video on those below or above, but the three types you're commonly going to come across are these. Number one, penny sleeves. As the name suggests, these are super cheap and do their job. You can get a 10-pack of these for around 10 bucks, hence the name penny sleeves. Perfect fit sleeves. That's what I use. They fit super snugly around the card, and they're also great for double sleeving. However, be careful not to damage the card when you insert them into the sleeve. Top loaders. For maximum protection, especially for rare and vintage cards, use a top loader like so, and don't forget to put the card into a penny sleeve or perfect fit first. Great, you've got the cards, you've got the sleeves, you've got the style, onto the binders. Types of binders. You're going to come across dozens of different types of binders when you shop for them online or in stores, and we're going to move from least protection to maximum. First up, we got the good old trusty ring binders, but as you can see, there are quite a few issues with these, which we're going to talk about now. Ring binders like these are really bad for your cards. They can damage them, and when you put them flat, they can bend the cards on the sides. You need to purchase extra inlets for them, which cost extra. They're really bulky, take up a lot of space, they don't really look nice. Plus, cards can bend, they get lost, and they get wet and dusty and whatnot. Of course, there are some advantages to ring binders, which is they're super cheap, you can find them anywhere, you probably have a bunch of those already, and you can extend and replace the inlets if you ever need to. My verdict, please don't choose a ring binder to store your collection. Next up, top loading binders, which are not to be confused, please, with top loader binders, which we're going to look at later. These are often promotional products and merch, especially from Pokemon Company and other trading card companies, and you can also find them for relatively cheap online. The advantages here are they don't have any rings that can damage your cards. They have often some really cool designs. Plus, if you get them with a special product, they're often the perfect size for a special set. Especially with Pokemon, for example, where you can get a binder collection, and that binder holds the perfect number of cards for the set. They also have some disadvantages, which is the cards are still open, they can get wet, they can fall out because they're top loading, so when you shake them, cards may come out. Some promotional products, I have to say, do have rings, which of course has the same problems as before. Cards can bend, they can get dirty, etc. Plus, some of these can be fairly expensive, especially if you purchase a merchandise product. My verdict, 4 out of 10, you can use them, they're cheap, but there is better on the market. Let's get to my favorites, side-loading binders. They have a number of advantages above the others. Number one is they are side loaders, which means cards don't come out easily, they don't have rings, they are really sturdy, and they are also not so big that you can't transport them in your backpack on a convention or when you travel. Yes, most of these fit any trading card game you play, especially Yu-Gi-Oh players know. The cards are a bit different size than, for example, Pokemon or Magic the Gathering. And these side loader binders are relatively inexpensive. On to the disadvantages. Number one is they are not extendable like ring binders, for example, so you can't purchase separate inlets and put them in if you need more. They are open on the sides, which means that dust or water or anything else can come into the binders. And as I said, that's usually not what you want, especially if you travel a lot. The designs of these are often a bit limited. I like it though. It's more on the professional side, as I mentioned before. And another issue is that cards can still fall out, especially with the cheaper ones. My verdict is between 6 and 7 protection-wise, but as we're going to see, we can improve on that. On to my favorite type of binder, the zippered side-loading binder. These essentially take care of all the issues we've talked about before. Since they have a zipper around them, there's no dust coming in, no water, your cards won't fall out. They also don't get crumpled when you put them in a backpack. You know, when you stuff it in and then, you know, that happens to me all the time. Anyway, that doesn't happen with these. Plus, they're still a good price for what you get. Mostly you can find them in any color you like. I've seen them in anything online. Plus, there are even some that you can customize. As you might have heard before, I'm a scuba diver, so these are actually waterproof, which is cool because you can take your cards to the beach and store them away safely. On the other hand, they are not extendable, so if you need to put more cards into a binder, you need to buy a bigger binder. An issue I see often with side loaders is that the 360 card binders are 3x3, so 3 rows of 3 cards. And once you get to 480, they are 4x3, so 4 in a row and then 3 rows. That makes them a bit more bulky in my opinion, which is unfortunate, but I can work with that. Next up, I said these are not super expensive. However, some companies do put a premium on those, on the zippers, if you purchase them. And of course, if you're really on a tight budget, that might be an issue for you. My overall verdict is 8 to 9 out of 10, and we're going to see why I'm not giving the final 10, because on to the next, which are top loader binders. We've talked about this before on the sleeves topic. Top loaders protect your cards because they, as I said and I showed you before, you put the cards into a soft sleeve like a penny sleeve and then the top loader, and they're super secure. However, they're really big, and there are extra protective binders for those. Like here, TC Guard makes them, or Gem Loader, etc. You can even find binders for graded cards. These offer the maximum protection, however, that comes at a price. These are usually at least $40, $50, $60 or euros or pounds. However, if you put your most valuable treasured cards in them, that should not be an issue because, of course, you know, you want to protect what you have. My verdict here, 9 to 10 out of 10. If you need them and can afford them, that's the choice you should go with if you have super rare and vintage cards. Otherwise, go for the zippered side loader binder. Thank you so much for watching. It means a lot to me. If you enjoy this, please click like and subscribe so the algorithm picks up my videos a bit more. Now that we've looked at what to look out for when buying a binder, here are the ones that I brought for comparison so you can see what's out there. Of course, you find links to all of these below. Just take note, these are not full reviews. You can find them separately on the channel. These are just, to give you an overview on what's out there. At the end, I'm going to show you my recommendations for each use case. The VaultX Exo-Tec zip binders have been my go-to choice for a while now. As you can see, I own a bunch of them, all paid for by myself. This is an unsponsored video. However, if you do decide to purchase these, you can find a 10% discount link in the description below. I like the Exo-Tec binders. They're super sturdy, very well made, high quality. They don't smell bad. And you're going to see loads and loads of people at shows and conventions use these. I think they're a great product for any kind of TCG you might collect. I use them a lot. They come in different colors and sizes, and they even make super large ones if you inquire. And I think the price is fair. They do run some promotions sometimes, and as I said, if you want to purchase this, you find a 10% discount code below. This binder is a bit more generic and it doesn't have a big brand name. However, as you can see, it does the job. It looks near identical from a distance as the VaultX or Ultra Pro or TC Guard ones. They're very well made. However, you can see here they have some discolorations. I'm not sure where that comes from. Perhaps yours doesn't have that, mine had it, so not full points here. However, they hold your cards, they don't rip, the material seems sturdy, it doesn't smell bad. I know sometimes people are afraid that the quote-unquote cheaper Chinese versions or whatever may smell poorly, or you can smell the plastic. I didn't have that experience. I like the one that I got. I'm gonna keep it too, and I think you're gonna have a great time with these, especially if you want to save, a significant amount of money. This is at least 30% cheaper than something like the VaultX one. You can find it in the link below. Here we have something a bit different, no zipper around it, just a regular side loader. I'm not a big fan of these, but this one is fairly well made, super inexpensive. Of course, if you want to save some money, of course, you can buy 2 of these instead of 1 zippered binder sometimes. Will I recommend it? I'd say it's fine. If you just stay at home with your cards or they never leave your, never leave your hobby room, then these are fine, especially if you don't travel, etc. However, if you do travel, if you take your cards outside, if you go to a show or the local club, etc., I can't recommend it. They're too bendy and I'm afraid that my cards will bend and something can get into the binder. That has nothing to do with this one in particular. However, that's just how these side loader non-zippered ones are. However, if you want to get a cheap one, check the link below. My biggest disappointment was the Ultra Pro Eclipse. I expected much more from them. As you can see, the quality just isn't there, especially if you compare it to the generic one that costs a lot less. And considering that the Eclipse one is more expensive than the VaultX or the Ultimate Guard, which both have zippers. Overall, if Ultra Pro is your brand, alright. All others, I suggest looking elsewhere. Next up, the Zip Folio Eco Skin. It holds 480 cards, so similar to the bigger VaultX Premium one. It is well made, a bit thinner though, and it feels like it's a bit more bendy. So be careful if you don't like that, if you, travel a lot and you have, you fear that it could bend, especially if you put it into a suitcase or something, you might want to go for something a bit more sturdy. I think it's fine this way and it doesn't take up as much space. It's also super light. The quality is decent and I only had some issues with the cards not fitting in, but that could probably be because this was a new binder. Overall, this is a decent choice. However, the VaultX and the TC Guard both were cheaper and seemed a bit more sturdy. The TC Guard Toploader binder is massive, as you can see. It's a really big binder. It holds top loaders just fine and the material quality is great. I think it feels very valuable. And I like that because of course you're going to put your most valuable possessions in them and then you want a binder that reflects that. The only issue I had is it's a bit difficult to get it into the backpack if you can fit it at all, especially if you go to, a convention, a show, whatever. You might have a harder time to get all your cards in the binder in. Other than that, it's a great binder if you want to spend some extra money on the extra protection. If you need it, you can find a link to it below. This Toploader binder really surprised me in a positive way. I didn't expect it to be that good. I even liked it a bit more than something like the TC Guard or the Gem Loader one, but that's of course personal preference. You can find the link below. It could also be that you might not be happy with it. I like the logo, but that's personal choice. Of course, if you want to customize it yourself, you don't need that. The inlets are really well made. It's a side loading one, so nothing can fall out. It's big enough for top loaders. And of course, it protects your cards well. And of course, if you want to make sure that it fits into your pocket, check the dimensions first. But as I said, in my case, it worked just fine. Now you've seen all there is to know about trading card binders in my opinion, and here are my recommendations. My overall unsponsored choice remains the VaultX Exo-Tec with a zipper. It holds all my valuable cards, my base set, etc. It's a great product, really durable, not that much more expensive than the generic ones and cheaper than others on the list. Great price, great product. If you want something inexpensive that still offers great protection, just pick one of the generic zippered binders on Amazon or any other shop you see. They are between $15 and $20 euros, pounds. You can even get them cheaper if you catch a promotion or something. They look almost identical to the more expensive ones. Yes, you can feel some differences, and in my case, I like to, have all the binders from the same brand, so it looks a bit more uniform in my drawer. But you do you, and I think this is a great choice. You can find the link below. If you need the maximum protection and want to put a top loader into your binder, use one of these. I'm linking two of them, the TC Guard and this one, the more generic one. I found no noticeable differences. This has a cooler logo. However, if you don't like that, get the other one. They hold a lot of cards and are well made. So total recommendation. You can find the links below. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions whatsoever about trading card games, binders, or whatever in collecting, leave a comment below. It also helps me in the algorithm. And please like and subscribe, and then I'll see you in the next video.